So one of the reasons I approve of the State of the Union, because Ben and Jeremy, the God King of the Daily Wire, was saying on the show that they don't like it. It's too monarchical. And I understand, and back in the day, maybe when George Washington would just send a letter to Congress, that made sense. But I think today there is too huge a structure of media between us and the president. And the State of the Union is a time when he gets to come out and put his best foot forward, and the people can see him directly. And you know who knows that? Donald Trump. Donald Trump knows that he is going to be, you forget, because we are so involved in politics, we're so wrapped up in it, we forget most people look at the headlines, they glance at CNN when they're in the airport or something like that, they glance at the paper, maybe they'll look at the op-ed if they're really dedicated very, very quickly. And they, if you think that people know about this FISA memo, they don't know about it. New York Times, you could comb through that paper forever. I'm sure it's in there somewhere, but you really could not find it. They don't know when all the networks are telling them that Donald Trump fired Andrew McCabe. They don't know he didn't do it. They don't know that he was probably as much taken by surprise. He didn't like the guy. He was tweeting against him, but he didn't fire him. And, they don't know. And this is the time when Donald Trump can stand up there and speak for himself. And as I said in the opening, this speech was not just a speech. It was a political weapon, because the Democrats are so mired in resistance, they end up hating everything that's good in life. All Donald Trump has to do is say black, they say white. He says white, they say black. He says America, they say no, and he's got them. They are trapped. So he just made them look terrible. And if you don't think so, just listen. Let's compare for a minute. Donald Trump's, that whole attitude of Trump's speech, which was this optimistic, we're doing great. I mean, he had it. Look, every president brags in the State of the Union. Trump is a braggart to begin with. He's had a great year on top of that. So when he was bragging, it had a lot of resonance. So just listen to the optimism that he was putting forward. This is cut number one.
This, in fact, is our new American moment. There has never been a better time to start living the American dream. So to every citizen watching at home tonight, no matter where you've been or where you've come from, this is your time. If you work hard, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in America, then you can dream anything. You can be anything. And together, we can achieve absolutely anything.
Okay, so that's Trump. We can do anything. We can be anything. We can achieve anything. We're having a great American moment. Here's the Democrats' response, and this is their vision of the future. A white privileged male named Kennedy from a family of sexual abusers. Listen to the tone of his speech. This is cut number 7.
We see an economy that makes stocks soar, investor portfolios bulge, and corporate profits climb, but fails to give workers their fair share of the reward. A government that struggles to keep itself open. Russia, knee-deep in our democracy. An all-out war on environmental protection. A Justice Department rolling back civil rights by the day. Hatred and supremacy proudly marching in our streets. Bullets tearing through our classrooms, concerts, and congregations, targeting our safest, sacred places. And this nagging, sinking feeling, no matter your political beliefs, that this is not right. This is not who we are.
And he's standing in front of Teddy's car. You can see the broken car in the background. It's like, I hope they finally got the body out of there. But, I mean, is that your experience of America? Here's the thing. They keep saying, oh, well, Trump's economy is no better than Obama's economy. The New York Times was saying this morning. The wages are not right. Listen, you can jigger the numbers any way you want, but you can't jigger the dinner table. You can't jigger the dignity that comes with a job. You can't jigger the payments on your house. People know that things are going better now than they were going during Obama's economy. If you remember, I remember when Trump was running for president and they said, oh, the unemployment is at whatever it was, 7%. And he looked out and he said, if unemployment were at 7%, this room would not be filled. I mean, this is not the experience that people are having, and they're not having that depressing experience that guy was talking about. So, all right, what's the point of all this? Trump says jobs for blacks sit on their hands. Trump says there's a little boy who puts flags on heroes' graves, nothing. He says veterans, God. Here's Mika Brzezinski's reaction to the fact, defending the Democrats, not applauding for the things that we hold most dear. Here she is.
Why can't people give him credit for what has happened? Why can't they give him credit for a speech that went, that people had a chance to see? If you're a Democrat, there's something there for you. If you're a Republican, there's something there for you. That it had specifics.
I think because he's literally screwed everybody in that room over a few times too many. He's been vulgar. He's been racist.
Fair, but this
he
isn't
has
fair.
accused one of the senators in that room of giving sexual favors for money. He's insulted the wife of a Republican senator in that room in the worst way possible.
What about the speech?
Your job, what you do,
speech?
Frank, is you read rooms. You tell me
What about the
that
speech?
room is supposed to respond like this to the great dictator?
Yeah, that's not what I saw. I didn't see any great dictator. I mean, you can tell us that he's an authoritarian. How is he an authoritarian? What has he done? Name one thing that Trump has done that has made the executive branch stronger. He keeps making it weaker. He keeps handing over things to Congress. He keeps dialing back the government. So there's no great dictator. You applaud for the flag. You applaud when things are going well, when people get tax cuts, when people get jobs. You applaud. And if you don't applaud, so what was the point? The point is immigration. He's now got this deal, and he gives them. He puts the deal on the table in front of the camera. He says, I am going to give 1.8 million illegals a path for citizenship. This drives his base nuts. His base doesn't want this. Ann Coulter is yelling, this is a terrible, terrible thing, okay? But everybody else who's not on that far side on immigration, everybody else is thinking, wow, that's a pretty good offer. And Trump then says, yeah, 3 more things I want. Border security, because this is what they keep doing. They keep giving amnesty to people, saying, yeah, down the line we'll do border security, but they never do it. So he says, yeah, for this, I want a wall. I want no catch and release. I want to end the visa lottery program. That's number 3. We can't give out random green cards for diversity purposes. And I want to end chain migration, where you can bring in your family, because that's absurd. Once one guy comes in, everybody comes in. And they say, well, he can't all come in that year. That's not the point. We all know what this is about. And so now people are thinking, hey, that was actually a compromise. He just offered a compromise to people who won't clap for the flag, to people who won't clap for God, to people who won't clap for veterans. And when they turn this down, and they will, and he knows they will, he just goes to the people and says, hey, what do you want me to do now? I offered them almost 2 million amnesties. And my base is screaming at me. What am I supposed to do? We've all seen now that they're intransigent. I mean, Joy Reid at MSNBC said it best. She sent out a tweet. She said, church, family, police, military, the national anthem. Trump is trying to call on all the tropes of 1950s era nationalism. The goal of the speech appears to be to force the normalization of Trump on the terms of the bygone era his supporters are nostalgic for. So they don't like the church, they don't like family, they don't like police, they don't like military, they don't like the national anthem, and they don't like an immigration compromise. I mean, it was masterful manipulation. He's caught out the Democrats. And of course, when you catch out the Democrats, you catch out our friends in the media, because they're the same people, right? That's just the communications branch of the party, the networks and all the rest, and CNN. The speech got a 75% positive response from actual human beings. 75% looked at Donald Trump, who everybody's supposed to hate. His ratings are so low. They loved this speech, 75%. Here is a montage that we at the Daily Wire, for your delight, put together that is a sampling of press reaction.
He was selling sweet-tasting candy with poison in it.
His words will float up like smoke from a fire and dissipate. In 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours from now, we'll see the typical recklessness, the looseness, the tweet out of left field that will extinguish this moment.
This guy doesn't look happy, does he?
Normalcy from our minds.
It's him reading off a teleprompter. There's some things he says that sound like him, totally, and he'll throw in a beautiful and an extra totally. But you can tell he's reading it. He doesn't own it.
I thought it revealed Donald Trump's deep and almost sort of sad obsession with being liked.
Blue blood moon, I think is what it is.
Rising, yeah.
The last time it was visible in the United States was in the 1860s, and I think we are as divided now as we were then.
No mention of Russia, given what's going on in the last couple of days in the streets. No mention of Turkey. No mention of the Philippines. This selective principle doesn't wash. But no mention of Europe, no mention of climate change.
Here we have a president in 2018
advertising the coal industry and not talking about the future. I mean, how that is appealing to anybody.
More than anything, it was a speech delivered almost from an alternate reality, a fifth dimension.
I think his rhetoric last night set things back, did not advance the ball forward, because while on immigration, while the tone was an attempt at bipartisanship, the way he sold immigration really offended a lot of Democrats.
So 75% of the people think the speech was great, and you feel that way. Should you hire some people who maybe reflect the people that you're, talking to? The reason they don't do that is because they don't feel that they're reporting the news. They feel that they are telling you how to think. They're explaining to you from their high perch of wisdom that what is the right and proper thing to think. And the problem they have now is that Trump is a communicator. He is one of them, essentially, and he knows how to do this stuff. The stories that he told were amazing. I mean, some of the stories, Dennis Prager was saying that he actually choked up. And of course, the one that got everybody was, I don't know how to pronounce it, Ji Sung Ho, who I mean, this story, if I had written it, people would say, dial that back a little bit, right? He's a North Korean guy. He's trying to steal coal from a railroad car to barter for food because he's in North Korea, and he passes out on the train tracks, exhausted from hunger, and a train takes his leg off, right? And he has multiple amputations without any morphine. He's going through this hell, and his brother and sisters are giving him food, and they're eating dirt. I mean, it's just an incredible story. He's tortured by the North Korean authorities because he went to China, and they tortured him because they wanted to know if he had met any Christians. And a great line, probably from Stephen Miller, Trump says he had met Christians and he resolved to be free. I mean, that is a beautiful, beautiful line. He traveled thousands of miles. I've heard these stories of guys who do this on his crutches, and now he has new legs and he stands up. And is this just a picture we have, or it's just a photo of him holding up his crutches in defiance and victory? I mean, this is the way Democrats talk. This is not the way Republicans talk. Paul Ryan, God love him, he is the way Republicans talk, with a pointer and a graph, and he sits there and explains the facts. Ben, again, he says facts don't care about your feelings, and he's right. But in a democracy, feelings are facts because they motivate people to do things. And Trump gets it. He's not pointing at things. He's saying, you want to know what North Korea looks like? Looks like that guy. Because guess what? Nobody ever crawled to get to North Korea from South Korea. Nobody's ever tried to escape from South Korea to North Korea and gone through this stuff. And it tells you who Kim Jong-un is. George Soros is telling us that Trump and Kim Jong-un are the same. Nobody's crawling out of America, not even Lena Dunham, not even like Hollywood people. You don't see, they're showing up in Hollywood in their black dresses, but they ain't trying to get out of America. They're trying to stay because things are going well. I mean, this is the thing. When I lived in England, I remember, I've told Rob the story, but I don't think I've said it on the air. I was standing on a street corner, and it was a beautiful day. And you don't get a lot of beautiful days in England. I mean, it rains something like 60, 70% of the time. And it was just gorgeous. And I turned to the guy next to me, who was he was kind of an old-fashioned Englishman with the umbrella and the suit and everything. And I said, lovely day. And he said, it won't last. And I said, it's the weather. It's not supposed to last. The weather doesn't last. Well, the same thing is true in politics. This is tremendous fun. This is Trump at his Trumpiest. This is conservatism winning. This is the economy taking off. This is people becoming more free. Don't forget to have it. It doesn't last. Politics is like the weather. Things change. Things will get worse. Things will get better. This is a good day. This is a good time. Don't forget, while you're screaming at the Democrats, scream at the Democrats because they deserve it. But don't forget, while you're screaming at the liberals, have a good time. Remember to enjoy it. This is really a period of victory for us, and it's great.